He's not married to Claudette yet, but I believe that this is the beginning of the affair. Because Diana's not stupid. I need to get next to the man who can get me next to the man. Well, hello there, love bugs. Hello there, Bellas. If you have not already done so, please remember to like, share the Facebook, subscribe, and visit uptopbeauty.com for these Mick shades in tortoise. And if you are not already a part of this book club, please hit the Patreon link below and or the join button here on the YouTube. And for a small monthly fee of $5, you babies, yes you, can be privy to all the shenanigans before the YouTube gets it, if the YouTube gets it. Now, let's continue talking about Smokey Robinson. Heroes. After all, we'd made 3 records. You could hear us on the radio. Our little neighbor was especially interested in our success. I knew her because her folks had rented a flat from Mrs. Wiggins right down the street, the woman who gave me a job at Two Sisters Unique Store. Her tenants were the Ross family. Their kids were younger than me. 3 boys and 3 girls. But the middle girl, Diane, was tight with my niece, Sharon. And it was Diane who loved to hang around and watch us, the Chimes, the Matadors, and finally the Miracles, singing and rehearsing. She was shy about it, but always persistent. If we were practicing in the basement, she'd be listening on the staircase. If we were in the living room, she'd be on the front porch. She was a fan, a music lover, and sometimes Big Sister would hear her sing. "You got a cute voice, honey," she'd say. "I love singing," Diane couldn't deny, "but I'm not good enough to be a real singer." Okay. I always noticed her because she was pretty and perky and pushy, pushing herself to do better, studying clothes design and cosmetics, smart enough to get into Cas Tech like my sister Rosella had done years before. After we had our first records out, Diane surprised me. I hadn't seen her since her family moved from Belmont to the Brewster Housing Project. "Smokey," she said, always sparky and spunky, "I've been hearing your records. I'm so proud of you, and I can't wait for you to hear our group." "You have a group, Diane?" "The Primettes. Will you listen to us? Will you introduce us to Barry Gordy?" I have always said that Florence is the creator of the Supremes. There's no denying that fact. But I've also said that if it wasn't for Diana, D-Boss, Ross, the Supremes would have went nowhere. They would have been the no-hit Supremes forever. You see how Diana put that effort in, Smokey? Can you get me to Barry Gordy? We know that Diana Ross has got busy with a lot of people at Motown, but I'm not mad. Don't be mad at Diana because she knew which man to hunch at the Motown to get to the place where she wants to be, or she wanted her group to be. Right now, I believe that this could have been where Diana Ross and Smokey Robinson had their affair. Now, he said that he was married at the time. So he's not married to Claudette yet. But I believe that this is the beginning of the affair. Because Diana's not stupid. I need to get next to the man who can get me next to the man. Y'all got to stop hating on Diana. We were about to go back on the road at the end of the week. Then we'll come over tomorrow night. She did. Brought Mary Wilson, Florence Ballard, and Barbara Martin along with her. 4 foxes, sexy and stylishly dressed. Fact is, they looked better than they sang. They weren't bad, just not polished. Their guitarist, though, was a monster, smoothest I'd ever heard. I mean, this cat made magic with his fingers, had a gentle touch, an easy wristed riffing approach, sweet swinging and steady as a rock. I flipped. His personality was as cool as his playing, laid back, funny in quite a way. The kind of dude who was smarter than he let on. Child, we read this in the Mary Wilson book. Child, Smokey Robinson gooped him. Okay, so I'll let you meet Barry the Gordy, but you gotta let us borrow. What's the dude name? I think it's Marv Tarplin. Yep. Marv Tarplin. I'll let you meet the Barry Gordy if you let me borrow Marv Tarplin. They said, okay. Child, I ain't see that guitarist ever. Man, Smokey Robinson stole Marv Tarplin from them girls. Hence another reason why I see Barry Gordy and Smokey Robinson being, good friends. They seized the day. Tell you what, girls, I proposed, eager to close the deal, still feeling the fresh pain of our Apollo date. I think we can help each other. We need a musician to rehearse and tour with. Your guitarist might be the guy. If he's willing, I'd like to use him for a while. Then, when we get off tour, I promise I'll set up something for you with Barry. What do you say? Enthusiastically, they said yes. They never saw that ninja again. 2 weeks later, we were at the arena in Cleveland playing on a bill with Jackie Wilson and Little Willie John. I seen a Little Willie John book. I wouldn't mind reading a Little Willie Junkie John book. I'm just throwing it out there. Back then, Little Willie, one of the best singers of all time, had the baddest band in the land, the Upsetters. We were still raw, still uncertain and awkward, but at least we had our own guitarist. That week, Marv Tarplin stood on stage behind me. Ever since then, it's over 30 years now. I've never played on stage without him. That's beautiful. I was lucky. I caught the last leg of vaudeville. I played the Chitlin circuit with comics, dogs, and one-legged dancers. He's referring to the peg-leg Bates. Say his name. Say his name. I caught people like Red Fox, Moms Mabley, C. Russell, and Slappy White. We played with the blues legends Jimmy Reed and John Lee Hooker, Lightning Hopkins, and Howlin' Wolf. We saw one era end and another begin. That doesn't make sense, I said softly to Claudette as I took my shift driving down the dark highway. 4 hours before we'd played Philadelphia, now we were riding through heavy night rain, headed home. Child, they almost got into an accident that almost ended their life, child. And then, because Smokey Robinson saw his life flashing in front of them, I got to get my life right. I got to give up all these hoes and finally settle down with Claudette. We caught our breath, pushed the fear back down our throats, and carried on the conversation. What are you trying to say, Smoke? The folks aren't thrilled about you traveling round with these single guys. They trust me. Well, I'm not thrilled about it. You firing me? She joked. I'm trying to tell you something. Then say it. It's not easy. You aren't pregnant, are you, Smoke? That was a good one, Miss Claudette. Stop kidding around, Claudette. This is serious. I want to hear the words. Will you? I tried, but I couldn't say the rest. I was nervous, unsure, off balance. In the distance, bolts of lightning electrified the midnight sky. A clap of thunder punctured the silence. Will I what? Claudette wanted to know. Look, baby, I blurted out. We gotta get married. Ain't that sweet? Hollered the band of miracles in the back seat. The thunder had awakened them. It is sweet, Claudette assured them and me, snuggling up close and kissing me on the cheek. And I will, soon as you can convince my mama and daddy. Yeah, that's something special. I believe he would convince mama and daddy, but I was confused. I'm confused because I'm like, your brother Bobby Rogers is according to the Smokey the biggest player out there. Can't a player see a player? Okay, I wonder what Smokey said to Bobby. Bobby, I swear to God, if I marry your sister, I ain't gonna mess with no more hoes. I promise. Okay, but if I was Bobby, I'd be like, come on, bruh. You know who you are. Stand down, brother. The wedding turned out beautiful, though. We said I do at the Warren Avenue Baptist Church, where Claudette was raised. Everyone was at the reception. Barry, the Miracles, even Jackie Wilson. He shocked us all by showing up fresh from a gig at the Apollo. When he walked through the door, you should have seen the heads turn. Man, he looked sharper than the bridegroom. I didn't care. I was honored that in such short time I'd gone from being his fan to his friend. Besides, Jackie was another Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde type. One minute he loved you, the next you were on his shit list. I was glad to be on his good side. Watch Jackie, I said to Claudette as he approached our table. He'll never get past the mirror without stopping. Sure enough, he stopped at the mirror, checked his smile, fished his fine-tooth comb from his pocket, and smoothed out his do before offering his best. Oh, yeah. Our honeymoon wasn't much more than a quick night at a hotshot motel in Detroit, and not all that hot. See, Claudette and I had sex twice before marrying, and both times were disasters. She was nervous and I was awkward. For Claudette, it was more pain than pleasure. Actually, it wasn't till a year after our marriage that we really began enjoying ourselves sexually. The love was always there, but the passion and freedom to explore it came later. The Coasters were the headliners. They came on last, but the Isley brothers were slamming so hard with their smash shout. No one could follow them. When the promoter decided that the Isleys should close the show, the Coasters coasted off in a huff, leaving town. No, we the Coasters, you crazy? What the hell? You got me fucked up. Promoter, we the Coasters. But they the Isley brothers. Yeah. Well. Drifting on a memory. Compared to the other acts, the Miracles really weren't stepping. Our dance moves still sucked. The mood of the show made me see how fiercely performers competed. Enter the Iceman. Jerry Butler had been around. He was a great singer and writer, more experienced than me, but also, like me, a newlywed traveling with his wife. That gave us something in common. Jerry was so cool, they called him the Iceman. Had these bedroom eyes and deep silk and satin voice. See, I really do understand why and how he can write like a woman. Don't take this wrong, he advised me, but you guys are trying too hard, rushing on stage with all that fanfare. Less is more, you dig? Try walking out there with a slow, cool, cocky strut. Show more confidence. Let me teach you a couple of simple steps, man. A little body language that'll go a long way. Oh, him, because it is something about a crooner. Baby, unbuttoning that top button and and taking his tie. Oh my God. I wonder if that was one of the simple steps that the Iceman showed him. Jerry led and we followed. A free lesson from a beautiful soul who remained a lifelong friend. Back in Detroit, things were humming. Barry was breaking his arse trying to break our records. We'd do anything for a hit. For a minute, we even formed a recording group called Ron and Bill, modeled after the Everly brothers. Ronnie White was Ron and I was Bill, but the duo didn't make any miracles. After the Miracles, Bad Girl, our contracts was up with Chess. Meanwhile, me and Barry had written way over there. Barry got so excited, he flew us to Chicago to record with Strings. The session was rough, but we finally got a good take. Shoot. Look, we keep recording good tunes, turning them into local hits, and then selling our masters to these big ass companies who never pay. The way you do business, man, you should be selling us coast to coast and cutting out the middleman. That's why they best friends. You believe in me that much? And more. If you can't do this shit, no one can. Man, your confidence in me is really inspiring. It's time, Barry. I'm telling you, it's time. And it was. Motown was on the move.